The notification comes at exactly midnight. No warning, no context, just a number on your screen that doesn't make sense at first. $1 billion. Deposited. Verified. Yours. But there's a condition. You have exactly 24 hours to spend it all. Not invest it, not donate it, not transfer it to anyone else. Spend it. Every dollar must leave the account in exchange for something you now legally own. If you succeed, it's yours to keep. If even $1 remains when the clock hits midnight tomorrow night, you lose everything. You read the rules 3 times. You look at your phone. It's 12:01 a.m. You have 23 hours and 59 minutes. The clock is already running. Your first instinct is the same instinct every person reading this would have. Real estate. You pull up Zillow. You Google most expensive houses for sale right now. You find a $47 million mansion in Beverly Hills, a $31 million penthouse in Manhattan, a $22 million beach house in Malibu. You think, okay, a few of these and I'm done. This is the first mistake. Because here's what nobody tells you about buying property at 12:30 in the morning on a Tuesday. The process doesn't move at your speed. It moves at the speed of escrow companies, title searches, county clerks, and lawyers who are asleep right now. A standard real estate transaction takes 30 to 60 days minimum. You don't have 30 days. You have 23 hours. You call a real estate attorney. He picks up because the retainer you just wired him at 12:15 a.m. was large enough that his phone is now set to never go to voicemail when your number calls. He tells you something important. There is a category of real estate transaction that can close in hours, not days, hours. Cash purchases with pre-cleared funds, willing sellers, and no mortgage contingency. It's rare, but it exists. And when you have $1 billion sitting verified and liquid, sellers who would normally take 45 days suddenly discover that 6 hours is completely workable. You now know the rule of this day. Money doesn't just buy things. At this scale, money buys speed. By 2 a.m., you have a team of 12 lawyers working simultaneously across 3 time zones. You are not sleeping tonight. By 6 in the morning, you own a $34 million estate in Palm Beach, Florida, purchased at 2:47 a.m. from a seller who had been sitting on the listing for 8 months and agreed to close by 5 a.m. when your attorney offered full asking price plus a $2 million premium for same-night closing. A $38 million ski compound in Aspen, Colorado, 7 bedrooms, a private ski-in, ski-out access point, purchased at 3:15 a.m. A $19 million penthouse in Miami, top floor, full wraparound terrace, purchased at 4 a.m. from a developer who had been holding the unit unsold for 11 months. A $41 million villa in the south of France. This one required a call to a French notary at 4:30 in the morning. The notary was not happy. The wire transfer he received at 4:35 a.m. adjusted his mood considerably. A $55 million private island in the Bahamas. This one your attorney had flagged the day before, a seller who had been quietly looking for a buyer for 2 years. When your attorney called at 5 a.m. with a cash offer at full asking, the seller asked if this was a prank. Your attorney sent the wire confirmation. It was not a prank. By sunrise, you have spent $177 million. You have $823 million left. You have 18 hours. The math is not working in your favor yet, but the day is just beginning. At 7 a.m., you sit down with a coffee you don't taste and a spreadsheet your assistant built overnight. Your assistant, who has not slept either, walks you through it. Private jets, yes. Pre-owned aircraft transactions can close in 24 hours with the right legal team and a willing seller. A Gulfstream G650, the kind of aircraft that usually requires a 6 to 12-month wait when ordered new, sells pre-owned for $45 to $65 million. Super yachts, possibly. Smaller ones, 40 to 60 meters, can transfer title quickly with cash. The larger ones, over 80 meters, have ownership structures complex enough that even cash can't accelerate past 72 hours. Rare cars, absolutely. Private sales can close in hours. A phone call to the right dealer at 7 a.m. is a signed contract by noon. Art, yes, with conditions. Major auction houses have private sales desks that operate quietly and quickly. The right pieces with clean title documentation can transfer same day. Gold, physical gold, actual bars, can be purchased from major bullion dealers and cleared in hours. The logistics of where it goes is a separate problem. You look at the total you need to spend by midnight. $823 million in 17 hours. You tell your assistant, we need to move faster. You buy a Gulfstream G650 at 8:15 a.m. for $52 million. The seller is a tech executive in California who has been trying to offload the aircraft for 4 months. Your offer is full asking with no inspection contingency. The contract is signed by 9 a.m. At 9:30, you buy a second aircraft, a Bombardier Global 7500, $58 million. The seller agrees because you offer to close before noon and pay a $3 million premium above asking for the speed. At 10 a.m., you call a rare car broker in Geneva. You give him a list. A Bugatti Chiron Supersport, a Pagani Huayra Roadster BC, a McLaren Speedtail, a Rolls-Royce Phantom Extended in a custom two-tone commission that was ordered by a Saudi royal who later decided he preferred a different color. The broker says he can arrange private sale on 3 of these before the end of business today. You say, all 4 by 2 p.m. I'll pay 20% above market on each one. He goes quiet for a moment. Then he says he'll call you back in 15 minutes. He calls back in 8. Done. By 11 a.m., you have spent another $190 million. Total spent, $367 million. Remaining, $633 million. Remaining time, 13 hours. You're spending faster now, but the real challenge is coming quietly, around noon, when your team starts hitting something they did not expect. Walls. Here is what no one tells you about spending $1 billion quickly. It's not that the things don't exist, it's that the world was not designed for a transaction at this speed. You try to purchase a controlling stake in a publicly traded company at noon. Your legal team explains any acquisition of more than 5% of a public company requires an SEC filing and a mandatory 20 business day waiting period. The law does not have a fast lane for larger checks. The law is not a price point, it is a process, and the process takes the time it takes. You try to purchase an NFL franchise. The average franchise is worth between $4 and $8 billion, so even a minority stake is within your range. Your attorney makes the call. The answer comes back within the hour. Any ownership transfer requires approval from a majority of other league owners. The minimum process timeline is 6 months. You have 11 hours. You ask about a private space mission. $100 million will reserve you a seat on a commercial orbital flight. The problem isn't the money. The problem is that the minimum safety preparation timeline is 6 months. Physics and biology do not negotiate with bank balances. You can pay today. You cannot fly today. You try to commission a super yacht. Pay for the entire thing up front, take legal title to the commission. The largest yacht builders in the world can produce 15 to 20 vessels over 80 meters per year combined. You can commission and pay for 10 of them right now. The world will deliver perhaps 2 within the next 2 years. The bottleneck is not money. It is the master craftsmen who spend years on a single vessel and cannot be duplicated with a wire transfer. Doors close one by one. Not because you don't have enough money, because some things in this world are locked with time, law, and physics, and none of those negotiate. By 2 p.m., you have spent $367 million. You have $633 million left and 10 hours remaining. You go back to what works: art. Sotheby's private sales desk connects you with a specialist who has been quietly representing sellers of major works for the last 12 years. He brings you a list of 17 pieces with clean title documentation and sellers willing to move today. A Basquiat that has not been on the market since 2009. A Rothko from the late period, the kind that museums try to acquire and usually lose to private collectors. A KAWS original, large format, the kind that sells at auction for $8 to $12 million and is currently owned by a hedge fund manager in Connecticut who bought it as a financial asset and has never once looked at it for aesthetic pleasure. You walk through the list. You buy 9 of the 17, not because the others are inferior, because 9 of them have same-day title transfer capability and 8 of them don't. You are not collecting art. You are moving capital into physical objects with clean paperwork. $74 million spent on art by 4 p.m. Then gold. You call a major bullion dealer and instruct them to prepare a purchase order for physical gold bars, not paper gold, not a futures contract, actual bars that will sit in a vault somewhere with your name on the custody documentation. You want $150 million in physical gold. The dealer's desk goes quiet for a moment. Then, that's approximately 1.8 tons. You say, I know. Can it be done today? It can. It will require coordination across 3 vault facilities and a logistics team that will work through the night. The gold will be in verified custody under your name before midnight. $150 million spent. Running total, $591 million. Remaining, $409 million. 7 hours left. At 5 p.m., something unexpected happens. You run out of obvious things to buy. Not because there's nothing expensive in the world, but because the things that remain either take too long to transfer, require approvals you can't get in 7 hours, or move so dramatically in price when you try to buy them that the purchase defeats itself. You try cryptocurrency. You instruct your team to begin purchasing Bitcoin. The first $50 million goes through smoothly. The second $50 million pushes the price up slightly. By the time you've put $200 million into orders, the price has risen 14%. You are not just buying Bitcoin, you have become the Bitcoin market. Every additional dollar you spend is buying fewer coins at a higher price. The purchase is eating itself. You stop at $200 million. Running total, $791 million. Remaining, $209 million. 5 hours left. Your assistant looks at you across the table. The table is covered in signed contracts, wire confirmations, legal documents, coffee cups. Neither of you has slept. He says, "We need to get creative." Here is what creative looks like when you have $209 million and 5 hours. You purchase 3 super yachts in the 40 to 50 meter range, smaller than the mega yachts, but fast enough to transfer title by tonight. $38 million, $29 million, $33 million. Done by 8 p.m. You purchase every rare whiskey lot currently available through private sale at the major auction houses, a 50-year-old single malt that has not changed hands in 15 years, a complete vertical collection of a Burgundy that the estate stopped producing in 1987, every accessible bottle of a pre-war champagne that exists as a transferable asset, $22 million across the afternoon. You commission a private concert, not just any concert, a private performance by one of the 3 most in-demand musicians alive at a venue of your choosing with a guest list of your choice. The booking fee, the production, the exclusivity clause that ensures this performance will never be replicated, $18 million. It books for a date 6 months from now. You own the contract today. You purchase a private island in Croatia, 11 acres, a stone villa built in the 1800s, a dock, a small vineyard that produces wine only consumed by the family that has owned the island for 4 generations, until tonight. $14 million. By 10 p.m., you have $55 million left, 2 hours on the clock. You do something strange. You book the private gambling rooms at 3 major casinos simultaneously: Las Vegas, Monaco, Macau. Your team coordinates across time zones. You sit at the table in Las Vegas and instruct your team to play at the other 2 simultaneously, streaming live to your phone. You lose deliberately and systematically with the same expression you use when signing contracts: present, competent, unmoved. By 11:15 p.m., $47 million is gone across 3 casino floors. The floor manager in Monaco places a soft limit on your table, not a rule, a suggestion from someone who has noticed something unusual about the pattern of your play. $8 million left, 45 minutes on the clock. You wire $8 million to a private medical research company that is developing a treatment for a rare disease in exchange for a full equity stake in the company's IP portfolio. Not a donation, a legal acquisition of ownership. Your lawyer calls at 11:52 p.m. Confirmed. At midnight, the clock stops. Your balance? 0. You sit back. The contracts are stacked on the table, 43 of them. 2 private jets, 4 hypercars, 3 super yachts, 7 properties across 4 countries, a private island, 1.8 tons of gold, 9 major artworks, a commissioned concert, a rare whiskey collection, a medical company stake, Bitcoin, and a gambling loss that the IRS will have interesting questions about. In 24 hours, you spent $1 billion. But here is the thing nobody thinks about until after it's done. While you were spending, that money was earning interest. At current rates, $1 billion sitting in a verified account earns roughly $150,000 every hour. You spent 24 hours spending. The money you hadn't spent yet was earning $150,000 every hour you were spending it. By the time you hit the final hours, you had earned back nearly $2 million in interest just on the balance you hadn't eliminated yet. The machine was running the whole time. And here is what this day actually revealed. The supply of things that can be purchased, owned, and transferred within 24 hours with cash caps out at approximately $1 billion globally, maybe slightly more if you're extremely well connected and have the right legal team. Everything beyond that either requires time, regulatory approval, or moves so violently in price when you try to buy it that the purchase defeats itself. The world was not designed to absorb $1 billion in a day. It was built to accumulate wealth slowly, quietly, across decades, in structures that compound without anyone noticing. The richest people alive don't spend their money, not because they lack imagination, but because the supply of things worth buying runs out long before the money does. And the money that can't be spent just earns, and the earning is faster than the spending. And the gap between what the world can absorb and what the money generates, that gap is the machine, and the machine never stops running. If you made it to the end of this, you just spent 24 hours thinking about $1 billion. Most people spend their whole lives not thinking clearly about what money actually is, how it works, and why the people who have the most of it behave so differently from how we imagine they would. That gap between what you assumed and what's actually true, that's worth thinking about. Subscribe if you want more of these. The next one goes deeper.